Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat Prabhu.
Anvad Rupa Vilas Prabhu.
Dandavat Rupa Vilas. We meet again.
Yo.
Happily. Devashis Prabhu, happily with you.
Yeah, it's actually hot
What
here
happened
today.
to our West London? Did it sail off in a flood or something?
No. I'm sure they'll join shortly. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, it's quite warm here today.
Prabhu here.
Jai Keshavananda Prabhu, Dandavat.
Dandavat Prabhu.
Well, here's chilly today.
Yeah, it's 24 degrees
And we
here.
just Oh my goodness. It's not 24 degrees. Anybody seen my phone?
Got an English sky here today, really, haven't we?
English or Irish.
People are making like English comments like it looks brighter, meaning it's a lighter shade of grey than when it was earlier on.
Oh, someone else trying to come in. Oh.
Govinda, Govinda, Gopala.
In the painful process of having to change my car. Such a headache.
Change it into what?
Well, they've introduced this thing. The Mayor of London's introduced this thing called the ultra low emission zone, and they've extended it almost up to my doorstep. And which means basically, because my car was diesel, that every time I venture into the zone, which means going anywhere, I have to pay £12 every time I venture into it. So it's just totally non-doable. So I have to get rid of my car and buy another car that's compliant with this new business. Such a headache. Anyway, it's the material world, isn't it? Always something. Always something.
So it's not only England, because here also very similar thing. We can't go into Milan with Munindra Mohan's car.
Yeah.
But you can say they've got some reason behind it.
Yeah.
But
making money, I think.
Well,
it would mean every time I go to the temple, it would cost me £12 every time I go.
Yeah.
So it's just impossible. And everyone is, everyone with a diesel car basically is panic trying to sell their car and get a petrol car instead. Happy days.
Happy days. And we're joined with Tungarasa Devirasi in Norway. Welcome. And we're wondering if West London exists today or not. Govinda, Govinda. But no problem. In the meantime, we are here.
Dandavat.
Dandavat. So you're
nice to see you.
Good to see you, but you're traveling somewhere. You're the passenger, are you?
Yes, I am with passenger now. Yes. I am with my family, with my daughter and your family.
Okay, nice. Yesterday we went by car, the longest journey I've been by car. Oh no, well, except we went to Liguria. I mean, for a long time, but I was with my family also. Keshavananda Prabhu, Munindra Mohan, and the family here. And why did we go out yesterday? We went out to do Harinam Sankirtan.
Yeah, well, this is just excellent. What can I say? only to dreaming of.
Come and visit us and come on Harinam. Before it was practical throughout Europe.
Yes.
Everywhere is 2.5 hours, 3 hours maybe. It's
Yeah.
all very
But now, yes, but now
Now-
so
no.
yes, so much restrictions. Yes,
Oh yes.
very uneasy.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And now West London has manifest as a still photo. Not to worry. Let us begin because we're a few minutes in, and we here on our side anyway have to end on time because we have a little schedule running. So let us begin. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
And let us chant to Gurudev and to Guru Maharaj the pranam mantras too. So Guru Bhabista Supuraka Guru Ganair
Ashisha Sambhusitam
Chincha
Achintya Samasta
Vedanipanam
Vedanipanam
Rupa
Rupa Pantanugam
Govinda
Abhitam Ujvalam Paratanam Bhaktyanvitam Sundaram
Bande
Vande Vishwa Gurun Chadibhya Bhagavat Premno Hi Bija Pradam
Devam Divyatanam Sachandavadam
Palakachelam Chitam Andrananda Puram Sade Kabaranam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Sarasata Nambaram Vande Tam Shubhadam Made Kashananam Yashishwaram Sridharam.
And then to Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavaranyaya. Namo Mahavadanyaya. Krishna
Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. Namne Gaura Trishe Namaha.
And Panchatattvaran Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sriva
Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
So dear devotees, our obeisances to each of you, to Vijay Krishna Prabhu who's joined us, and Leelamoyi Devidasi must be with her there. And I have a message coming in.
Maharaj.
Okay, yes, Dandavat. I'm not sure if it's your internet or our internet, but a little difficult to hear you there. But that was Vijay Krishna who sending Dandavat. Oh, from the kitchen in East London, yes? Devashish will help us out.
I'm looking to see.
East London kitchen.
Yes, it is.
Okay, wonderful. So hopefully they can hear us. A little bit of low internet, I think.
I have internet.
Okay, Vijay Krishna, this time we heard you. Yes, Dandavat Prabhu. And the team. I understand you're having a feast day today. Every festival, if we have a feast, then this is very wonderful. Oh my goodness, Madhusudan Prabhu. Okay, he can't hear us. Madhusudan Prabhu. What a choice of pictures. My goodness. Govinda Govinda. All right. And Paramanand was sending his many obeisances to the London Bhakta Vrinda. Because he was contacting me just now and I told him I'm in London on Zoom.
Yeah.
So he's sending obeisances. One of our worldwide well-wishers, and Saraswati Didi, there in West London in the kitchen. Dandavat Saraswati. Always remembering you and always remembering your mission there, Saraswati Didi, with heart and with support from a distance, however we can, but always remembering you. Everything going well? The project maintaining? I know you're busy, Saraswati, but yes, Dandavat.
Happy to hear. Here we are.
Dandavat, all of the good helpers coming. Jai.
Very, very blessed to be able to hear from you. It's our fortune.
You're very polite. You're becoming so British, Saraswati. Anyway, we're happy to see everything going on nicely and truly giving support and remembering you and always giving honor to the temple and you who have made it all happen and the residents. So please do let everyone know they're not forgotten, very much remembered. No
Yes.
sound.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Can you
now,
hear me?
yes. Now, yes.
I'm saying that it's a team effort. There are many devotees here giving their energy and many friends come every day and they are giving their energy for the service here.
Okay,
It's very nice.
very good, wonderful. Happy to hear and happy to see. Gurudev is happy, this we know. That everything will continue and that we can engage others also. As you say, it is not one person, it's a team effort to be successful in Krishna consciousness. Jai, Dandavats. Oh, now Madhusudan Prabhu changed his icon. Okay, Madhusudan Prabhu. Jai. All right, Ananda Swarupini Devashis joined us. Dandavats.
Everyone.
And Subhasini Devashis joined us also from Ireland. So happy to have each of you with us. And Krishna Mohini's joined us from Spain. So
Dandava Maharaj, Dandava
Dandava.
Keshavananda Prabhu,
Happy
Dandava
to see you.
Dandava.
To see you.
yeah, we've got you. We've got your British brother, our British brother here with us too. Actually, he's not British. He's from another place, the devotee world place. All right, so today, the official title, I don't remember, but today some theme of Jiva Goswami and Bali Maharaj and of Vamandev, or we can say Vamandev and Bali Maharaj, and of Jiva Goswami. Today is one of these festival days in the 1 month long festival of Sri Hari Smaran of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati. So, okay, sounds are not coming from me. Okay, anyway, everything is good. And I think, Devashish Prabhu, that you've got the highlight on Saraswati maybe.
No, you.
Have you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you say so. All right. Oh, maybe I put a pin. Okay, so that I could see her better. Remove pin. Yes, I understand. So both Keshavananda Prabhu and myself, in preparation, we did much preparation for today, and our preparation conclusion was Devashish Prabhu will know best. So let us first pass the microphone to Devashish. And we put it to a vote and it was unanimous. And I have my witness that I'm not making up the story.
You're both complicit. What can I say?
So Devashish will kindly to start us off.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, we were trying this morning in our house trying to get everybody to to hear some of the glories of Vamandev in that small window, here at least a small window before, during which we can do the paran for the Ekadashi, and that has to be after the worship of Vamandev. So we're trying to get everybody suitably ready for that in that short time, and we managed it just with a minute to spare. But we read something from Srimad Bhagavatam about Vamandev, and it is very glorious pastime of the Lord in many ways. Of course, that the Lord appears as a beautiful dwarf Brahmin boy, and came, answering the prayers of the devotees who were very much afraid of Bali Maharaj, because he's representing the clan of the Asuras, and but he is a devotee, not only a devotee, one of the Mahajans, so one of the great devotees, the authorities on devotional service. So that's the first thing that we learn from that, is that even if you're born in a family of demons, you can still be a devotee of Krishna. And that's very much exemplified by Bali Maharaj. And Vamandev came before him. Actually, ostensibly it was to show support for the devotees, but really the real reason was to show the glory of Bali Maharaj. And coming before him, Bali Maharaj was delighted to see such a beautiful Brahmin boy, dressed in deerskin and carrying an umbrella, and just so enchanting vision of this Brahmin boy, dwarf Brahmin boy. And so immediately Bali Maharaj offered him some boon. Please let me give you some boon. I am a king. You're a Brahmin. It is my duty to give some boon to you if I am able to do that. So just ask anything that you want, anything at all that you want. And he said, Vamandev said in humility, I am just a Brahmin. I do not have many requirements. So you can just give me three paces of earth, with 3 paces measured by my own footprints. That will be enough for me. And at the same time, Bali Maharaj's guru is Shukracharya, and Shukracharya, very honorable person, but advisor to the Asura clan. So then he immediately, being very knowledgeable, could understand that this Brahmin is Narayan himself. So he told him, don't give him anything, because it'll be the end of you if you do that. Everything, all of your conquest of the heavens, everything will be finished. But Baliraj, he decided to ignore Shukracharya's advice. And this is the second lesson that we learn, that however honorable or great your guru may be, if he suddenly advises you against the service of the Lord, it is recommended that you reject such a person as your spiritual guide. So although Shukracharya, extraordinarily qualified and honorable, because he was advising against service to the Lord, then Baliraj very rightly rejected his advice. And then he told to Vamandev, yes, measure your land, I will grant you that. And the Lord, who is also known as Trivikram, who takes 3 steps, he expanded into a huge version of himself, let's say, and took the first step. And with the first step, he covered half of the universe. And then with the second step, he covered the other half of the universe, and at the same time pierced the covering of the universe with his toe. And that's all another story, how then the Ganga comes to earth, and a whole other story from that. I say story, but it's actually a Leela of the Lord. We shouldn't think it's just a myth or a story. It is actual fact. And but now Bali Maharaj considering, my Lord has crossed the universe in 2 strides. Now, there's nowhere for him to put his third step. Then I will become an offender, because I promised him 3 steps, and he's already taken 2 and covered everything. Then what shall I do? But being very clever, very intelligent, and also desiring the Lord's mercy, he said, please, Lord, make your 3rd step by putting your foot on my head. And the Lord very graciously obliged. And we see that amongst the Mahajans, Bali Maharaj, he's glorified as the embodiment of Atmanivedanam, of full self-surrender, because he offered everything and was, made himself completely bereft of anything of his own by offering himself and everything that he owned to the Lord. And it wasn't just, he wasn't a poor man. He was the ruler of the universe for all intents and purposes. And he surrendered all of that and surrendered his very self to the Lord. So his glory is very great. And that appearance day today on the Dwadashi is known as Vaman Dwadashi. And also, of course, the appearance of Srila Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami's position in our Sampradaya very high and very important for all of us. And with your permission, I have a few little passages, one by Srila Govinda Maharaj and one by Srila Guru Maharaj in glorification of Jiva Goswami. So I'll begin Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. This is what he says. He said, when Baladev Vidyabhushan began writing the Govinda Bhasya, he first gave his obeisance to Krishna and then to Jiva Goswami. He considered Jiva Goswami to be our guru by giving protection from the Pandits. Baladev Vidyabhushan wrote the following pranam mantra: Ja Sankhya Pankena Kutarka Pungsana Vivarta Gartena Cha Lupta Didditam Shuddham Vyadhat Vak Shuddhaya Maheshwaram Krishnam Sa Jiva Prabhu Rasta Me Gati. This is a very difficult shloka and hard for me to explain in English. But what I am explaining is not a literal translation, but it gives the mood, the bhav. He says, I offer my full dandavats unto the lotus feet of Srila Jiva Goswami, who is the protector of our spiritual life. He rescues us from the whole illusory environment. He protects us from the Sankhya philosophy, which he compares to quicksand. When the jivas want to cross over the ocean of material existence, they first come across muddy quicksand. In the Nyaya Shastra, the endless dry arguments are likened to ashes, soot, and smoke, blowing in the wind and covering the eyes, the sky, and everything around us. So we cannot see what is really in our front. Through the wind of bad arguments, everything is covered, and we cannot see Krishna. Next, he mentions Vivarta Gartena. Vivartavad is Shankaracharya's philosophy of Nirvisheshavad, which is compared to a hole in the road. You want to go to Krishna, but you cannot. Why? Because in the road, there are these kinds of disturbances. The first disturbance comes from Sankhya philosophy, compared to mud. Not only can you not cross it, but it is the kind of mud, like quicksand, from which you cannot extract yourself. The next disturbance is kutarka, which means Nyaya Shastra, argument, which is compared to the blowing of soot and smoke. Still, you try to progress on your journey, But suddenly many large blind holes appear in the road. These holes are like Shankaracharya's Vivartvad. This is Mayavad, Vivart Gartena Chalupta Didhitim. The Mayavad philosophy is waiting for you in the road like a hole. If you fall into that hole, you may be lost forever. In that hole, you lose your body. Nothing gives you any food. Nobody gives you any food or nourishment. Nothing is there, and you die there. But Baladev Vijabhushan says, Sudham Vyadhat Vak Sudhaya Maheshwaram. Jiva Goswami is the rescuer from that environment, and he has shown Sri Krishna in his exalted position. Jyotira Bhyantare Rupam Atulam Shama Sundaram. I offer my everything to him. It is difficult for me to explain in English, but this is the line of thought. So Jiva Goswami is our protector, and Baladev Vijabhushan is a pandit of similar standing to him. He was initiated into the Madhva Sampradaya, and later, after reading the literature of Jiva Goswami Prabhu and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he became a devotee of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu's Sampradaya. So that's Srila Gurudev explaining this pranam mantra, written by Baladev Vijabhushan to Jiva Goswami. And here is an article or a lecture which was given by Srila Guru Maharaj in Bengali and published in Gaudiya Darshan in 1956. And that reads as follows. Once, a champion scholar, while traveling with the aim of conquering all the directions, came to Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan in Vrindavan. Although Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan were powerfully learned and brilliant, they did not enter into debate with the scholar, and instead, out of natural humility, signed letters admitting defeat. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. Later, this scholar heard that one of their students, like persons who are averse to the soul, was a great scholar of all the philosophical scriptures, and that if one cannot defeat him, then one has not defeated anyone of importance. The scholar then came to discuss the scriptures with Srila Jiva Goswami and said, I have heard that your learning is widely renowned, so please discuss the scriptures with me, or, like your gurus, sign a letter admitting defeat. Jiva Goswami said, where are these letters of defeat? Let me see them. The scholar placed the letters in the hand of Jiva Goswami, and Jiva Goswami immediately tore up the letters of the scholar, who proudly considered that he had defeated Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. Srila Jiva Goswami could not tolerate anyone trying to defeat Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. He considered, as it is necessary for me to remove the offense of an offender at the feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan's supramundane glory, so it is even more necessary for me to use my learning in the proper way by serving their profound brilliance. Knowing that only by doing so would there be any genuine good fortune for both of them, Jiva Goswami tore up the scholar's letters of defeat and said to him, being unable to understand the greatness of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan as a result of your misfortune, you have only cheated yourself. I am their unworthy servant. You will be able to appreciate something of how great and how high their position they hold is if you converse with me. And then you will understand the reason why I tore up these letters of defeat. Come, what need is there for delay? Their discussion of the scriptures began. Within a short time, the scholar's illusion was cut away. He was defeated and desired to rectify his mistake. Sri Jiva Prabhu then said, if I had not defeated you and glorified them, you would not have understood them. So I have had to proceed this far. Now, if you want genuine good for yourself, quickly go to them and pray for forgiveness. Being unable to understand their liberality and greatness, you have severely disrespected them. What was Srila Jiva Prabhu's conception? To illustrate it, we can explain as follows. A group of dacoits approached the house. When the dacoits wanted the key to the house from the proprietor immediately came out and gave it to them. But when they went to the treasury, they saw that there was a guard. The dacoit said, "Open the door. Look here, the proprietor has given us the key. We will now enter the treasury." The guard said, "Where is the key? Let me see." The dacoits gave him the key. The guard took the key and said, "First defeat me, then enter the treasury." Thereafter, in an intense fight, the guard defeated them all and protected his master's honor and wealth. Everywhere we see in a similar way the greatness of Srila Jiva Goswami's service to the Sampradaya. And in the conduct of Srila Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur, we have seen the same sort of endeavor to serve the Sampradaya and his gurus. By discussing the philosophies of Nyaya, Sankhya, Patanjali, and so on, Sri Jiva Prabhu endeavored to make the world appreciate the wondrous nature of devotion to the Lord. As an Englishman should be taught in English and a Chinaman should be taught in Chinese, so he grasped the teachings of these sampradayas and endeavored to make them understand his desired end. Still today, distinguished scholars become fascinated to see the great outcome of Sri Jiva's expertise in all the scriptures. The foremost aspect of Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu's pastimes that naturally appears before our eyes is his protection of the proper conception of loving devotion to Sri Krishna. Replete with knowledge, realization, and detachment, he cut asunder the conceptions of those who were proud of their materialistic learning and firmly established the conception of devotion to Sri Krishna through his 6 sandarbhas. Furthermore, so that students would not go down the wrong path and instead follow the path of pure devotion from the start of their education, and so that they would be engaged in chanting the names of the Lord at every moment, he wrote Sri Hari Namamrita Vyakrana and started a new era even in the world of grammar. His style and endeavors were like those of a prince. To follow and please his gurus, he would go out and spend his days and nights at the base of a tree. Yet the expression that is seen in this world of his tremendous propensity to engage in the service of Sri Sri Radha Govinda is extremely rare. Through his conduct, the position of being a prideless, respectful, surrendered servant of the Vaishnavas has been established throughout the world in a highly revered form. He has said, "So that no one makes any offense at the supremely glorious, supramundane feet of my gurus, and so that everyone understands the greatness of my gurus, first of all, I have had to raise my head." Here is the foundation for the mentality of an acharya described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Jiva Goswami was fully adorned with all good qualities, boundless learning, nobility, vigor, and so on. From boyhood onwards, he lived a very long life as a brahmachari. Even if the storehouse of nectarian knowledge, whose door he opened and whose contents he distributed all over the world, is looted for infinite time, it will always and in ever new ways continue to gradually increase. So there we are. What can we say? To follow that, we can't. So I'll end my contribution for today. Thank you all very much.
And really, we are here in order to hear the conception of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, to hear from the authority about the nature and the nature and the contributions of these great souls. So Devashish was given us. Where was that taken from? Where was that read from, Devashish Prabhu?
That was from the Gaudiya Darshan website.
Ah, okay. Because I'm also thinking it's not a book, and I'm thinking, which book is this? Gaudiya Darshan website, yes. And there are treasures there which are not in book form, which have come out and which are translated from the Bengali.
Yes,
So,
this was a translation of an article written by Guru Maharaj and first published in the Gaudiya Darshan magazine in 1956.
Jai, wonderful. Jai. So one thing we can also think about Jiva Goswami, which is very close to our heart. Well, two things very close to our heart. One is in Vrindavan, the temple that we have, basically the temple which has come to Gurudev's service to Guru Maharaj's service to Rupa Goswami. That temple is in essentially the land of Jiva Goswami's Radha Damodar temple. And so right next to Jiva Goswami is our temple there in the center of Vrindavan in Seva Kunj. But I was also thinking that very close to our heart is Navadip Dham Parikrama, and this was revealed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Navadip Dham Mahatmya, where Nityananda took young Jiva Goswami all around Navadip, and by this parikrama of Navadip and the revelation of that by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then we've got some understanding of the different areas of Navadip too. And this is long before, or in fact just before, Jiva Goswami went to Vrindavan, because he didn't want to leave Navadip. He was obviously completely enchanted with Navadip when he's been with Nityananda himself, showing him all of these places. But Nityananda said, no, your place of service has been given by Mahaprabhu himself as Vrindavan. So now after this, you should proceed to Navadip. And then, you should proceed to Vrindavan from Navadip. And Jiva Goswami was also showing himself like puzzled and asking, but why, if Navadip and Vrindavan are the same, why should it be that I should go to Vrindavan? And anyhow, then Nityananda Prabhu explained, and this way, the seva of Jiva Goswami, when he understood that his seva was going to be service to Rupa and Sanatan, then on his way to Vrindavan, then he took it upon himself to get education in order, in other words, by the indication of Nityananda and Mahaprabhu, given service to serve Rupa and Sanatan, he understood that he's not going there only to sweep the floor and to cook some chapatis. He's going there, maybe that is also very valuable service, but he understood his service was in the literary side. And so he, by the grace of Shiva in Benares, he got good education to set him in good stead when he came to Vrindavan. But the whole of the Navadip Dham Mahatmya, which is a great treasure for all of us. I mean, such a wonderful book. We tend to read it once a year, but it's another of these books which we don't have to only read at the time of Navadip Parikrama. As more we can become familiar and at home in Navadip, then this is very beneficial for us always. And not only that, Chaitanya Saraswati Mat, Guru Maharaj himself, he said, and here, this place where we are, this is the source of your good fortune, not only now, but forever. So we want to cultivate our mood and our appreciation, our feel for Navadip. We are talking many things, of course, about Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, but Guru Maharaj also has helped us to understand that it's of such a nature in Navadip that if we put our energy to Navadip and to Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, then that energy, that savor is automatically deposited in the Vrindavan account. and Vrindavan is distributed from Navadip. And so Jiva Goswami very intimately connected with our understanding of Navadip and the revelation of the glories of Navadip Dham, Sri Navadip Dham Mahatmya. So this is one part, and other parts about Jiva Goswami's life, many incidents, and he's the son of Rupa and Sanatan's brother, Anupama. And Anupam, who left home and who passed away in South India, it is understood, when he's on tour. So Jiva Goswami also related with Rupa and Sanatan in that way. So these are just a few words from me in that regard. And as you've explained about Bali Maharaj and about Vamandev, then coming to show the glories of the Vaishnavas and the glories of surrender, giving everything to the Lord. Many aspects towards, by one avatar, one arrival in the world, many things we can learn. But always in the mood of bhakti, devotion, then Vamandev is coming to show the glories of devotion, of giving oneself, selflessness, and fulfilling the vow, the promise also. And Bali Maharaj, he already had so many qualities. How can you basically be on the verge of ruling the whole universe and being blocked by the Lord himself? You have to be a very powerful person. But Bali Maharaj took that power of, Vamandev basically converted that power, the great potency, which all comes from Krishna too, by the way, in Bali Maharaj, converted that into devotional service to the glory of Bali Maharaj. So these are just a couple of things from me. So we're covering other points about this day. And Keshavananda can say a few words. And we do have Munindra Mohan Prabhu here. And he's a listener, and you are also, what is it? Like a mascot.
He likes flowers.
A bouquet of flowers, yes, a bouquet of flowers, offering to Gurudev. But Munindra, he's one of the mascots of Vila Govinda Ashram. So now Munindra knows we're going to ask him to say something. That gives him a few moments to think while Keshavananda, who's always got something up his sleeves, will give us a little something from up his sleeve for us in devotional treasure.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Well, what to say when we've heard so many wonderful things from Gurudev and Guru Maharaj through Devashis Prabhu, and then from Madhusudan Maharaj. Of course, I'm definitely I'm bowing my head to Jiva Goswami's inconceivable gift, service to his divine masters in this so many devotional literatures that he gave. I don't know, I've heard different numbers as described of the amount of books, the amount of shlokas, but any way you look at it, it's a lot. So I'm bowing down to those books, which I'm not so familiar with either, but we understand that these are the foundations of the protection of the Sampradaya and against the attacks of the Shankarites and all the different conceptions who would try to interfere with that pure Achintya Veda Ved conception of Mahaprabhu. So I'm just remembering of our dear Radha Damodar temple on this day, there in Vrindavan, and what a happy and beautiful day it is to go in there with all the marigolds hanging, the flowers, the altar with so many beautiful deities there, all the Brahmins sitting outside the area where is the Samadhi of Jiva Goswami, chanting the Sad Goswami Astakam. Very just wonderful, wonderful. And then, of course, what's a festival without a feast? And it's all very interesting in the Radha Damodar temple, because their feasts are not like we know the feasts in the Bengal. You know, for us, a feast means like Bengal, really, where we have rice, we have dal, we have wet sabji, we have dry sabji, we have bit. So many things will be there. This is the classic feast, which we've been mercifully introduced to by our guardians. But the feasts in Radha Damodar temple, they're not like that. They're more, I don't know whether it's a UP thing, but it's a simple feast, actually. Only 3 preparations. There's some sabji, and it's a simple sabji, maybe not even with paneer, like cauliflower and potato, something like that, and a tasty sabji, but fairly simple. And then, you know, lakhs of puris, you know, as many puris as you can conceive of. And then usually for the sweet, it was like, I think it's called malpura. It's like a little pancake thing, little malpura. Anyway, simple, that's it. But of course, this is the mercy of Radha Damodar and all those other blessed, beautiful deities there, the mercy of Jiva Goswami. So a very wonderful feast, and very exciting feast as well, because at least in my experience, maybe it's changed a little now. They've done some construction, but the feast was served on the roof, and the roof is in the middle of Seva Kunj. So everybody sits in rows, and certain individuals are posted with sticks around the perimeter of the roof, looking where those monkeys are gathering, and the monkeys sit there biding their time, just looking everything. And then once those baskets of puris stop coming up the steps on the heads of the servitors, just suddenly out of nowhere, it's like a hit and run raid. They just go for it. They run through, grab what they can, jump onto another roof, and sit there eating the puris. So it's quite an exciting time to be fortunate to take this prasadam on the day of Jiva Goswami's appearance in this world. Srila Prabhupada said that this temple, you know, it's written on his Bhajan Kuti there, this temple of Jiva Goswami is my heart and soul, very dear to all our guardians. So we're, you know, we owe them everything, that we've even heard the name of Jiva Goswami. And I know Sudarshan, I can't imitate Sudarshan's delivery, but he, you know, he at university, he had to kind of acquaint himself with some of the Western so-called philosophers. And he was saying, it's just crazy people vomiting mental, you know, speculation of the most strange kind, you could say. And the whole Western world, until really, perhaps with the arrival of Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada was unacquainted with the six Goswamis, and especially we can say Jiva Goswami, this actual philosophy, actual understanding of the nature of the sweet absolute, the nature of reality, the nature of the spirit soul, the nature of Bhagavan. So, you know, Jiva Goswami is certainly beyond my understanding, but sometimes through our guardians, we get a little bit of appreciation, just how perfectly precisely, wonderfully, scientifically, in every way, he presented the teachings of Mahaprabhu. So it was unassailable from any quarter. This protector and expounder of this beautiful conception of Mahaprabhu, this Krishna conception, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So we're happy to remember these things. We're happy to remember being there with all the devotees and bowing our heads in the temple of Radha Damodar at the lotus feet of Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami and Krishna Das Kaviraj and Srila Prabhupada and so many great Vaishnavas there on this high holy day. Another festival day in the beautiful company of the devotees.
Haribo.
Hari Bol.
Beautiful. Okay, Munindra Mohan Prabhu, now your chance has come. Do something good for us. He's already done something good for us because he's been part of the creating team, the creators of the feast today. So actually, we've just come from a feast. And I think in London, you're just about to go for a feast. Hare Krishna.
Every day is a feast in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math.
Every day is a festival, not necessarily a feast. Oh well, in Vila Govinda,
Vila Govinda,
every day is a feast.
A festival, yes. And this, this amazing day combine joyful aspect of the sweet absolute knowledge carried by Jiva Goswami for service, not just for the sake of knowledge. And Maharaj a little bit stolen my topic, telling that, the glories of Jiva Goswami actually are when you get the association of Nityananda Prabhu in the Navadidam Parikrama, then what else can be distinctive characteristic is already everything in there. And but then we see he got some service. He has to protect the Sampradaya against the attack from opposition in the academic section, the Pandits and different schools. So he had to go to Benares after Navadip with Nityananda Prabhu, go to the academic environment for maybe 5 years, and he had to study there. And I remember when I had to leave university because I was a bad student. I was studying philosophy, but I had to leave for many reasons. One reason also because I couldn't get any juice, any satisfaction by university curriculum of study. And then I was little sad. I was very sad to leave philosophy. But then what happened? Now I got connection with the most exalted philosopher ever, like Jiva Goswami. Through our spiritual master and our superior Vaishnava, we got this introduction to this personality. And it's so embarrassing in the Milan University, they don't even know about him. And so and now I'm laughing because, I left university, but I got master degree and connection with Jiva Goswami. But yes, his glory is more, of course, for us. He did this Satsandarbha, which I never heard the Gurudev encourage us to read, because basically has been written for the unfaithful, for the suspicious side of the public, the people that wanna somehow put down our conception. So he had to show the super solid, amazing fundamental philosophical of the Bhakti line. But that's leads my thought to another thing, that we are now reading from Divine Aspiration, and how Mahaprabhu took the best from each sampradaya. And I was always wondering, Nimbarka Sampradaya, how similar is to our sampradaya? They also have Madhura Rasa, Radha and Krishna, and they also have Veda Abeda, because they also think the soul is simultaneously united and separate from God. So what's the difference? And Guru Maharaj said the difference is achintya. And I also thought achintya is something secondary, but it's actually very important, very distinctive, because achintya means that the Absolute can do and undo whatever you want. And if you understand this, apparent opposition in your brain cannot combine easily two opposite things. But if he wants, you accept it through devotion, you can accept. So achintya is very important. It's like above, one step above knowledge, like speculative knowledge. You can do many comparative analysis, but once you enter in achintya, then forget comparative analysis. And we have so many achintya things in Krishna consciousness. So I think that's my speculation, maybe. That's why our gurus, they don't encourage us to go and read Satsandarbha or this kind of books, because they are not for us. We accept what have been revealed in our heart through seva and through surrender. And this kind of knowledge is much superior and can be accommodated everything, even opposite, through achintya. Something like that. I don't know if my English is clear.
Yes, clear.
And of course, Vamandev is very beautiful pastimes, because it's about to give everything, and at the end, Atmani Veda, what else you have to give but yourself. And that's the beginning and the end of surrender. Sometimes we have to think is the beginning, because if we don't give ourselves, then what's the purpose to give away our wealth, our time, our energy? So, and this receiving the lotus feet of the Lord on your head, how privilege you got. And as a result, you go to hell. This is another achintya. Anyway.
Purport, please.
Well, we heard that after this pastime, he got the position of like gatekeeper of Patalaloka, something like that.
No, that's
Vamandev.
That's Vaman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vamandev is the gatekeeper.
Yes.
And as eternal associate, I guess also Bali Maharaj.
Right.
He got some position there.
Right. It's like Bhakti Vinod praying Madhusudan. I don't care where it is, dead or alive, wherever it is, heaven or hell. If I'm connected to the Vaishnava, to you, my Lord, then that's everything is wonderful. So I like that for Bali Maharaj. His Lord is there.
Yes. Yes, for the Vaishnava doesn't exist any hell, basically. Where there is the law, where there's association and service, that's always paradise.
Jai.
Jai, very beautiful. And those Satsandarbhas, I don't actually recall whether it was in the part that Devashis read out, but when in Galta, when the Ramanandis challenged to Baladev Vidyabhusan that, you don't have any explanation of the scripture. You don't, what's
the Vedanta Sutra.
What's the word?
Bhasya.
You don't have any commentary specifically for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, and then said, no, we do. We have Srimad Bhagavatam. And then they said, but we also have Srimad Bhagavatam. For you to have your own sampradaya, you need your own commentary. And so then then Baladev said, okay, I'll give you the commentary. We'll come back after maybe 10 days, not very long. And then basically, of course, he got the mercy of Govindaji. He went there and prayed to Govindaji. That's why it's called the Govinda Bhasya, because it's actually the Lord writing through his pen. But he based that on those Sat Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami's teachings from some generations before, that was the substance that was given by Baladev Vidyabhusan as the Bhasya for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So there it is also alive, you can say alive and strongly presented by Baladev Vidyabhusan. And we know Srila Prabhupada based his Bhagavad Gita on Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary. And this way continuing until today. Hare Krishna. So as I mentioned at the beginning, for those of you who were at the beginning, we do have to ourselves here end on time today, and our time is here. I'm happy to leave you with Devashish Prabhu and others who may have a contribution to share with each other. But on this side of the world, we need to keep our wheels turning just now. But happy that we've got this chance to come together and to be able to hear and to be able to share something that comes in our hearts about this day, and based on nothing is ours, based on what we've heard and read and seen in the lives of Srila Gurudeva and Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada through his teaching, of course. So we are simply trying to present their conceptions, understandings, and to share that with you. It's not that we know this and we know this, we know this. It is given a little bit of understanding by the grace of our masters. So Devashish Prabhu and all of the devotees here with us and those who will be hearing or seeing the recording presently, our obeisances to you all and appreciation for your being here. And we are bowing out on this side of the world. And in the meantime, Shyama Sundari Devidasi joined us. And I think everybody else, we made some greetings to Leela. Yes, Dandabat Shyama Sundari Devi, and to Mahamantra Prabhu also, of course, and Subhadra. And Leela Moy Devidasi joined us, but I think she's represented by Vijay Krishna Prabhu a short while ago too. So happily. Hari Bol. All right. So Dandavat Pranam to you all. Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj ki Jai. Jai. Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai.
Jai.
Vishwarani Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Vamandev ki Jai. Shri Baliraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Jiva Goswami ki Jai. Shri Radha Damodaran ki Jai. And our Sakrika Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar of Navadip ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Devashish Prabhu ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Nika Sindhu Bhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaha.
Dandavat, Dandavat, and with heart good wishes for you all until we meet again soon.
Jai Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.